Welcome to Meet Your Rep, candid discussion with the senators serving in the Virgin Islands Legislature.
Welcome to Meet Your Rep. I'm Africah Harrigan, and joining me today is Senator Almando Liburd. How are you today?
I'm fine. Good day. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. So let's talk about your nickname, Rocky. It's pretty interesting. How did you come up with that name?
Well, Rocky is a name I got as a kid. My father was a boxing lover, and at the time, he had a TV. It was very small, and Marciano was boxing. So I got up and started to do a little jobbing and so. And next you know, it stuck with me, and the rest is history. That's what happened, yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your childhood?
Okay. Let me just, say this. I was born in St. John. My mom never made it to the clinic. I was born in a house owned by former senator and my cousin, Noble Samuel. We grew up there, and then I moved to Coral Bay, where my mom and her family live. We live in a house that was a family house. 3 different families lived there. My mom was a sister, 2 other brothers live in it. But we only had 2 rooms, a bedroom and a kitchen. And I had brother and sister and my mother and father. So my bedroom was the kitchen. People ask, well, oh, how could your bedroom be the kitchen? Well, the kitchen because any old clothes you had, when everybody finished eating, you throw them on the floor. We call it lodging. That's what these young folks don't know. Lodging was a bed. That's one thing about the floor. You can't fall off of it. So that's why I slept. So every time after dinner, I would get my clothes and throw them out. We washed them, throw them out. And I got to get up early in the morning, like 5 o'clock, because my father goes to work, he was an ambulance driver at the time. And so he had to, my mom get up and fix breakfast for him. And then afterwards, so I got to get up real early. And then I had to come to school in St. Thomas, because we had to catch a ride from Coral Bay. Then we catch a boat. Then we catch a bus to get into Charlton High School. So, we grew up, we had no we had no bathroom. We have what we call an outhouse. Most people don't know what outhouse is. In a house outside, is a place outside you go to take a shower and your toilet. Whether it's sun or raining, you better go outside there and try to get ready. Otherwise, you can't make it to school.
Considering that you came from humble beginnings, do you feel that has shaped you into who you are today?
Well, yes, in a lot of ways, but not just that alone. I had a religious side to my life. I'm a Moravian, and I went to what you call confirmation at an early age. Then I went to a camp in St. Croix at Midlands. It was then my whole life changed because, you had a chance to understand what really life is about. You met a lot of folks who were my age. Many of them are my friends today. And they, you look at, when you're young, you want to have a bunch of girls and so on. And I just, from that time, I realized that I didn't like some of the ways that we treated ladies, because after that, I went to school in Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico, I went to a place called San Germán. It was the oldest towns in Puerto Rico. And they had a lot of what you call chivalry. And would take the lady out, hold hands, that kind of thing. Why you don't do now? So that kind of shaped my life, as to who I am today. So I learned to appreciate people in a different way. And so that's how I live my life. And then I began to teach.
How old were you when you moved to Puerto Rico?
About, 17?
17?
Yeah, 17. I just graduated from high school. And I went there, and really how I got there was because of a teacher of mine named Elroy Sproul. He's still alive. This guy was my Spanish teacher. And, everybody talks about what you want to do in life and what's your passion. He said to me, look, you think about what you do best, which comes easy for you. And in those days, foreign language and auto mechanics came easy for me. But I just didn't want to get my hand dirty up too much. So I decided I going to school. So I went and took Spanish, He was the one who got me to school because when I graduated from high school, I hadn't written to no college. And he said to me, man, you can't do that. So he went to my mom and my father and said, look, you have to send this boy to school. So he said, well, it's kind of late now to get into school. You only could get into is probably Puerto Rico. So we wrote University of Puerto Rico and then San German, and I got accepted in August. 2 days just before I go, next thing you know, I got to go to class like the third. You got accepted the first. My father and I went down there and hadn't been away from home in all my life. I go into a Spanish place. I swear to God, I know a bunch of Spanish. I got on in class. These people rooted in, and Puerto Ricans is the fastest articulator of songs of Spanish. So the next, I see the class laughing. I looking back, I said, what's going on in there? Next, a lady used to sit next to me, a girl. She would tell me the joke afterwards. I was like, I laugh, the people might think I'm crazy. Because I didn't understand it at the time. I thought I knew Spanish well enough, but when you go in there as a vernacular, it's a different ball game. So I had to learn the hard way. And so I got involved in a lot of sports. I was a chess player, I was a softball player, domino player, ping pong player, pool player. So they used to have a lot of tournaments. And I ended up being a chess champion and a pool champion. And so, but all of that was able to help me understand the language and use the language. So when I left school in Puerto Rico, I could articulate, just like English,
So back then, mechanics sparked your interest, sports sparked your interest,
Yes.
and also speaking Spanish properly also sparked your interest. But out of those three, which one do you think you were most passionate about?
I think I was better at the language was speaking because I used to translate for the courts. When I got back home, there's some guys who spoke Spanish with some accident, and they had nobody to interpret, so I was hired to interpret. And it became very easy for me. Let me tell you something that helped me. I used to watch wrestling, right? People don't, but I watched wrestling for a reason. The reason was they had a lot of guys that come from the States that knew no Spanish, but had a guy who interpreted for them. So I would listen to what he's saying, and I'm translating just as quick as he is, just to test my knowledge. So I would make sure watch it all the time because you got a chance to balance your skills and see how quick you are. You have to use every opportunity when you live in an English environment. What I used to do is like, for example, you learn how to tell time and so. So I would take my watch off, hide it in my pocket, and if I know you speak Spanish, I go on the road, I say, mira, ¿qué hora? And when I see you answering me, I know I saying it right, so I'm done with that now, I move on to the next subject. And then you develop the language like that. So those are the methods I use to understand the language up to this day.
Who would you say is the person that most influenced you growing up?
I had a lot of people. I grew up not with too many young folks, but a lot of older folks. Okay. A lot of elders in my life. I had my father in particular was special, but he was a different kind of father. My father, I couldn't say daddy. I had to call him friend Hugo because he never grew up with a daddy. So he didn't feel like he should be called daddy. So we had to call him friend. Friend Hugo, can I go here? Can I go this? But my father believed in work. He wasn't about sports. He taught softball. He said, that's nonsense. Taking a piece of wood, hitting a ball, run behind it, you got to strip this. That's my father. He didn't, like you said, a man bouncing a ball, throwing the whole nonsense. My father was into construction. You had to go and build houses, you got to fix a car. That's the kind of life he had, and so we were not allowed to go and play a lot of sports. The only time we played sports was in school, and so he had a different life, but, he grew up in an era. See, my father never had a father and mom with him. He was in a home in St. Thomas, and a lady by the name of Florence Marsh knew the lady in those days who took care of these so-called bad boy. They're like these fellas now. You know, and she went to the lady, and the lady said to her, Florence, which one of these boys you want to take with you to St. John? So she took my father, and the rest is history. He never left there. So he grew up like that, you know, but he showed love in a different way. You know, a lot of men in particular don't really know how to show love for children. You know, it's sometimes I think it's not a macho thing, you know, that kind of thing, you know, and the Safi and all that stuff. I look at life different. I see that what happened in our society today is that we don't show our appreciation in more than one ways. So our children don't understand us well. So because we don't really reach out to do that. And we're missing a lot of love in our community. Those folks long ago showed a kind of love like a village. That's why people talk about the village, because every one of them cared about you. We don't have that no more. You know, so I try to keep that with me. That's how my life, everything you see me do is what I've done all my life. No different, you know, because it kind of instill of who I am. Nobody can define who I am. I'm me, you know, and it is what it is, you know.
Yes, you are you. What kind of music did you like?
Oh,
you
I'm
like
a
Spanish?
music
You like
lover.
English, or you like
Yeah, I love all kind of music. I'm a music lover. Yeah, I into soca. Well, my favorite is soca now.
Okay.
You know, but I like the bachata. I like you know, and my thing about music is that I had a dream of playing a guitar. I still got a dream. You know, I can't play a note, but you know, I end up buying a bunch of books and things, and I ain't get together yet. But one day I'm gonna get it before I leave this place. I'm gonna get it. But I like music, all kind of music, because music is a message. But I'm a lover boy, so I love romantic comedy and things like that. I love story. You know, a lot of music that shows special kind of affection. That's my kind of thing. You know, I love that kind of thing. Lovers rock.
Well, it's never too late to learn how to play the guitar.
No. I have one. I got a guitar, and I have one guy who works with me now, and he's, you know, showing me some cards and so on. You know, hey, little by little, bird build a nest. You know.
True.
You know, so that's what I'm trying to do. You know.
Tell me about one of your proudest moments in life.
I have a lot of proud moments. I think one of them had to be when I got my first job as a teacher, because I kind of dreamt that I could go away and come back in my own community and make a difference. You see, I was able to go away to school, come back and teach in the same classroom that I went to school in, you know, that I graduated from. I taught with some of the same teachers who taught me. You know, it's an awesome feeling when you are able to be there with people who were, you know, your peers, really. They were your teachers, you know, and to excel, you know. And then I was fortunate to be elected, you know, and people look at being in public office, everybody have this thing about politics. I look at politics as being able to help somebody. You know, my proudest time in this office is when I'm able to help someone make their life a little bit better, maximize the potential. Now, there are a lot of accomplishments that I've had that I don't brag about. For example, I'm the first guy from St. John to ever become president. You know, as a matter of fact, I did it twice. Nobody else has done it in history. You know, as a matter of fact, I'm the longest living president as we speak. You know, everybody else who served more than 2 terms are not here with us. You know, those are things I can speak about. I'm the longest at large senator. You know, and the public has been good to me. You know, people have been good to me, you know, over the years. I enjoy people. That's probably one of my best things. You know, I'm a happy-go-lucky. You see me in a pool hall. You see me in a gambling house. You see me in a dance hall. You see me go to the movies. I go to the movies sometimes by myself. When my wife died, I used to do a lot of that because sometimes, you know, we were like a team, and we shared a lot of moments together. And so when that happened, you know, you go through a phase in life, you know, and some people handle it different ways, you know, but I'm a guy like this, you know, if I'm with you, I'm with you. I'm committed. You know, you should do that too. No, but folks,
You said that you were a teacher, but what kind of teacher were you?
let me tell you what I was. I taught Spanish, but I tried to make it in a way that is very practical in life. Because you see, some teachers go through a whole lot of just reading stuff like that. No, no, I want it to be that when you leave my class, you should be able to go out in the community. You should be able to buy something to eat. You should be able to get a taxi. You should be able to live. You know, at least have some of the basics to communicate with. You know, I try to impart that. And so I try to make the scenes, you know, visible. Like, for example, I used to tape times. People learn to tell time. So I would take some of the Spanish stations, I go on the radio, and I would, you know, listen to it, get a recorder, tape it, and then I bring it to class. So I train you in doing that, and then after class, and me doing class, I say, all right, I'm gonna pay these here, you write down what time it is. Because Spanish language, you gotta get your ears trained. You gotta be accustomed to hearing it and, you know, the sound. So I try to do all of that, you know, because education is a lifelong process. But I just didn't do that alone because foreign language wasn't the only thing in life to me. I brought students to the legislature because I said to them that you need to know your community. You need to know what's happening there. It's not just about my subject. There's a lot of other things you should know. And so every time you get a chance to learn something, just read. Just try to learn as much as you can, because you know it's a endless pit. You know, and the good thing about when computer came in, you know, you can go on the internet. Oh man, you know, hey, you know, that's why what we have here we call legit now. I was the one who started it. We call with Vipan, you know, because I was watching C-SPAN. I said, well, wait a minute, how come we don't have no TV in the VI here? I said, something wrong with this picture. So Randy Knight, who is now with the governor, he used to run a cable company. I said to him, listen, man, we need to have something gavel to gavel. Yeah, and we started that. There was a lot of opposition. People didn't want that for us, but when you're in charge, you got to do what you have to do, you know, and I made the objection, I did it, you know, and hey, it's one of the best things happened to us, you know. So that's how life is.
Let's talk about your personality a little bit. What do you think are the 3 best attributes of who you are?
I'm real. What you see is what you get. I'm an individual. I'm going to say it like it is. You know, I don't hold back. I try to be honest with you, and I'm compassionate. I'm a person because I understand how life is, and sometimes you need help. Sometimes you need a little a little push, you know, and you know, I understand that. For example, when I became president here, I had a lot of young folks because we complain about the young people,
Yes.
but we don't give them a chance. How they can get a chance? How they can get a chance if somebody doesn't give them a chance? And the reason why, when I was younger, a lot of people gave me a chance. And so whenever I get an opportunity to do that, that's what I do. So my tribute is about knowing people, being able to understand and, you know, and listen to what they have to say. I'm a good listener, but I'm a talker too, you know. But generally, I enjoy people. I feel that my job here is to see how best we can serve in a way that most of our people are served well. Now, we're not going to cover everybody, but we got to do our job for the majority and try to make life a little bit better. That's what I'm all about.
So tell me something new. What is it about you that you would like to share that most people don't know about?
Most people don't know about me because they look at me and they think I'm a stuck-up guy. They think,
You?
yeah, people tell me
I can't really
he's
picture that,
stuck-up, he's
but-
this and that. I say, you folks don't know me. They don't know, you know, I used to coach Bobby, you know. I was a little strict sometimes, you know, but it's about getting the job done. You know, if you're doing what you have to do, and you try to be honest and not you give me a 619, you got a problem with me, I go to go. But if you're doing that, you don't got to pay to the piper. You know, that's how it is. So people just look at me, but you know, there's a line that I say, if you can look beyond my ugliness, you'll find I'm very pretty. You know, that's what you do.
Yes, quite gorgeous. How do you deal with disappointments?
Man, sometimes I hold it in. I have a theory about me is that never let them see you sweat. So they'll never know when they got me. You know, and in this body, you know, when I've been in here before with some of the players, you couldn't let it happen. They'd take you to the cleaners. So they never knew when they had me because I play the same face. I do the same thing. But, you know, you even in doing that, you got to be strong because sometimes you show your hand. You know, you got to be a poker player, know when to hold and when to fold.
Okay, so legislative session is over. Committee meetings are over. Caucuses are over. How do you spend your free time?
Oh, well, I travel. I go play a lot of games. I go to the beach. Right now, I want to spend some time taking care of me, exercising. You know, I see a lot of folks around here a little fatter than I am, and they need to lose some weight. But I quick to tell them about that. But when you're talking that, you got to walk the walk too. So you got to start doing something for yourself. You can't be talking about everybody fat and you fat. So you got to be real, you know. So that's what I want to do, and I share with my friend. You know, we have a good relationship. You know, I'm a lover of people, so I try to find somebody special to move around with.
What inspired you to want to become a senator?
Students. I took my students, I brought them here when I was teaching at Liburd High, and just to see how government worked. And when we went back to class, I asked them to discuss what happened, what they saw, and how they liked. And they said to me, but man, why don't you do that? I said, no, I don't want to do that kind of stuff in there. He said, yeah, you could do that and you can do a good job. Man, 2 years later, I'm in office. The rest is history. You know, so they encouraged me to do it, you know. It turned out to be a good thing. You know, being a senator is not a bad thing. You know, people curse you and say all kind of things about you. The one thing I don't like is that they lump us as a bunch of crooks, like they're corrupt. You know, those are kind of things I don't take kindly because they don't know how I struggle. One thing my mom and father taught me, don't steal, don't rob. You know, if you belong to somebody, leave it alone.
The Ten Commandments.
Yeah, and the thing about me is this. I feel like this. You could take away my clothes, you take my money, you could take my car, take my house, you could take my possessions, but you can't take my integrity. That's mine. And I'm not gonna allow you to do that by doing something that puts you in a position to do that. You know, I always know where I am at all times. I know exactly what I'm doing, you know, because to me, life is like this. You only have one life. You know, it's like Shakespeare. You have a part to play, and when it's over, you move on. But you must live it to the fullest. And to me, if you live in this life, does not help someone along the way, either by your actions, your behavior, or just the things you do, then you have not lived well. Your life has been in vain. And so that's how I live. That's how I feel about things.
As much as we will all like to be perfect, none of us are.
No, we're not.
What do you think are some of your weaknesses, and how do you look forward to overcoming it?
Weakness, I'm out of shape. Sometimes people feel like I should take certain positions. They want me to be like somebody else. You know, they call it a weakness, but, you know, I'm as tough as they are. It's just that people associate toughness with a kind of I would say, rough and violent type of thing. But you could be tough, not that way. You could be tough in a different way. You know,
Absolutely.
you could be kindly tough, and people would understand it. You know, it's just that they have to know who you are and what you stand for. And once you do that, you'll see hard. You know, but I have some faults. You know, like everybody else, and can't tell you all of them. So because then if I tell you them, then somebody might use it. So I got to save a little something. You know what I mean?
For the students who inspired you to run to become a senator, what message would you give for them today?
Oh, I see them around. I would say thank you. You know, I never thought I would have done it, but it always be a good thing. You know, I would like to think that I've helped in some way or form during my tenure, and it's my hope that the Virgin Islands become a better place, and the fact that I'm part of it, that I can leave some marking as to how our people could relate and be good to each other. We just missing. You see, what I think each and every one of us as senators should do is the way we live our lives. You know, some people talk about life, but they tell you one thing and do something else. I don't do that. The same thing I tell you about treating people, that's how I treat them. And I expect you to treat me the same way. And if you don't, then I react different. You know, so if we be good to each other and we respect each other and try to maximize the potential and not try to hide things from you, you know, to me, power, you know what power is about? Power is about being able to empower other people to do things so that they too can empower others. And if we do that, we're going to see this place grow. We just don't have enough people doing that.
And that is a very powerful message.
Yeah.
What would you like to do once you retire from the Senate?
Oh, I want to enjoy life a little bit. I want to sit back and relax and spend time for me. You know, because I've been in public office, I've been a teacher, and it's time for me. So not too long from now, I'm going to be taking some time for me.
And you mentioned earlier that you like to travel. Is there
Yes.
any particular place that you haven't been yet that it's on your bucket list to go to?
Well, not really, because I don't have any particular place. I haven't been to Africa, which I intend to go there, and you know, but I am skeptical because the world that we live in today is you got to know the timing to travel, brother, because I don't want to be caught down there and you can't get back. No, I ain't about that. We got to look at the world, and being an American, we got too many people who feel that we're enemies. So you got to be cautious. And besides, I'm a homie. I'm a Virgin Islander to the bone. I love this place. Every island, I love the Virgin Islands. You know, when I'm home, it doesn't matter which island it is, I'm good to go. You know.
Is there any particular country in the continent of Africa that interests you the most?
Ghana.
Ghana. Why?
Because it had some folk life folks here. And I remember in Government House, a guy came in there from the tribe, and he looked at me and he said, he just turned around and looked at me, and I wonder why he did. So, and he looked at me more than once. And he came on, he said to me, he said, you know, you're one of our elders from the higher tribe in Ghana. You look like a fellow just from there. He said, yeah, he looks just like you. He's in a position like you as a senator at the time. And I said, wow. But you know, it could be so, because a lot of our people came from there, you know, but you never know. They pick us up and they drop us off someplace. We don't know that. So there could be some tie-in, you know. I would love to see if it's so. And you know, hopefully we could, you know, understand a little more about ourselves.
You book your trip to Ghana. Well, what would you like to do in Ghana? What are some of the things
Just
you
get
would
to
like
know
to
the
do?
people. That's all I want to know. I just want to get to know the folks, how they live, the kind of things they do, and a little bit about the history. And you know, I take it from there.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Meet Your Rep. I am Africah Harrigan for Legit TV.
Meet Your Rep. Candid discussion with the senators serving in the Virgin Islands Legislature.